Hi, I'm John Scholes, President and CEO of the Downtown Seattle Association, and welcome to today's City Maker Conversation, presented by Alaska Airlines. I'm here at NHL Seattle's Preview Center at Seattle Center with Mari Horita, Vice President of Community Engagement and Philanthropy for NHL Seattle. Thanks for joining us, Mari.
Thanks for having me.
So we're at the NHL Preview Center. Tell us a bit about this pretty incredible facility here.
Yes.
Just at the edge of Seattle Center.
Yes, well, we created this Preview Center to provide a space for our partners to come and get updates on what we're doing with this rather large project, and also for our suite holders and soon our deposit holders to see the arena, see the suites, and see the seats. And so in addition to this space, we have a back room where we, as you previously saw, had a mock suite area, and now we're building it out with the Rockwell Group designs for our premium spaces, so it'll show an example of what some of our club spaces will look like.
It's pretty spectacular to see both the model and then the suites. Are there any specials, like buy one suite, get half off the next suite?
Well, I tried that last time and I got in trouble with our sales guy, so,
Everything's
I'm told
negotiable.
Not, yeah.
So you joined NHL Seattle in January after 7 years as the head of Arts Fund here in Seattle, and previously you were in law practice with a number of Seattle firms, Bogle and Gates, K&L Gates, and Dorsey and Whitney. What has been the common thread through your career from law to arts to now sports?
Yeah. When I was a corporate real estate lawyer at Bogle and Gates and K&L Gates, I had the opportunity to work with a number of Seattle flagship companies that have a presence around the world but call Seattle home. And most of these companies were and still are, I would say, world leaders in community engagement and civic corporate citizenship and stewardship. And even though they were obviously very focused on the bottom line, giving back and creating opportunity for everyone in the community was a high priority for them. And for me, I learned a lot from that and really saw how important companies are investing in communities and the difference it makes if you have companies that are investing in communities and taking care of everyone and those that are not.
What's it like to do the work you're doing from the ground up in an organization that's essentially brand new, an expansion team, renovating a major facility here, an organization that's really just begun here in Seattle? What's it like to do the work you do from that perspective?
Well, it's very exciting because we are, on the one hand, we have this enormous project, this very complicated project that has a lot of different facets to it, and we're also a startup, so it's exciting, it's new every day. And what I love about it, and I think the main reason that I know the main reason that I came here is it's really built on partnerships. So from a team perspective, we're here because of our fans, because of the 32,000 deposit holders that decided that they wanted to be part of this endeavor. And from the arena standpoint, that was also born out of a partnership with the city of Seattle. And so we work closely with the mayor's office, with Seattle Center, with a number of different city departments, with organizations on the Seattle Center campus and in this neighborhood to build this out. So that's really exciting, and obviously partnerships are at the core of community, which is what I'm mainly involved in.
And I know that you've been traveling the country a bit, trying to learn from other teams how they go about their work in their community. What have you learned from some of your counterparts across the country?
Well, most of my conversations have been on the phone so far, although we did attend club meetings in Detroit last year, and I went up to a Canucks game and talked to my counterpart up there, and also out to New York to meet with the League. Social Impact, Growth, and Legislative Affairs Group at the NHL has a very strong focus on community work, and so they've been great leaders and teachers in this area. And from a league perspective, they've done a very good job, I think, in a very forward-thinking way to frame or maybe even reframe the narrative of the sport to dispel misconceptions about what the game is about and who the game is for. And they see it both as a business imperative as well as a moral imperative to be as inclusive as possible, so that a sport that at least mapped against the population of this country, isn't the most representative when we think of who's playing hockey, someday will be, and that the fan base will reflect everyone in this community, and that the players on the ice will as well. And I think in Seattle we have this really unique opportunity to build a whole new fan base. I mean, we have this amazing existing fan base, but we also have a lot of young people who really don't know about hockey because it wasn't part of Seattle historically. The other teams that we've talked to across the country have been incredibly generous with their information and their learnings. There are community departments like mine. They also have foundations with almost every team. So, like I said, they've just been incredibly generous with that information, and this is one area where the teams don't really compete. It's more like, how can we look at best practices to have a positive impact to change lives for the better. So they've been super helpful.
Can you talk a bit about, or share a little bit about some of the community partnerships that the team is considering now? Is there anything to announce there that you can speak of today?
Well, like many parts of the organization, we are very much at the front edge of building this out. So I can speak in general terms in some specific partnerships. Like I mentioned, we obviously have a very close partnership with the Seattle Center, and we're working closely with them on a lot of different initiatives. We will also be working with some of the schools in Seattle. We will be forming a 501c3 foundation, as most of the teams in the league do, and a major focus of that will be to support programs, and including mainly our own programs or partnerships that create access to the game of hockey and break down some of the barriers to the game of hockey and bring in new communities into that game. And so working with different schools, mainly elementary schools, some middle schools to start with, is going to be a big part of that.
There's been a lot of focus on the arena renovation and all that's going into that. The practice facility at Northgate is a pretty spectacular facility in and of itself. How are you thinking about that asset and that facility in relation to what you're trying to do and bring the community into the game and reach more people?
Right. Well, just as we've been building the partnerships with those around the Seattle Center area, we are, like I said, we're starting to create those partnerships up in the Northgate neighborhood. And for those who don't know, the Northgate facility will have our corporate offices as well as 3 sheets of ice, the first 3 sheets of ice in the Seattle city limits. We'll have 2 community rinks and then also the practice facility, and there will be 1,000 spectator seats so that people can come and watch the practices. And we will encourage that. And yes, it will definitely be an opportunity to introduce more people to the game, to bring people to the facility, to engage the neighborhood community so that there's learn to skate programs, learn to play programs for people who maybe have never been on skates, certainly have never played hockey. So that'll be a great way to introduce them to the game and introduce them to our organization. It's really important to us as we build out our organization and our outreach programs that everybody feels seen and included and welcome in what we're trying to do.
Well, and the track record from Todd Leiweke here in the community and Tim and what they've done with other teams and has been phenomenal. I think we all look forward to seeing NHL Seattle create an incredible experience for fans in the community, both here at the arena but also at the practice facility. And it's going to be great that we can reach both of them on light rail soon from downtown.
One sooner than the other.
One sooner than the other, Northgate in 2021, but the monorail connecting downtown to the arena. So give us a sense about the timeline with the arena construction and the practice facility. What should people know about some of the key milestones coming up?
Well, the arena, we broke ground earlier this year, and we are on schedule to open in, I believe, summer of 2021, in time for the season. And it's really an extraordinary undertaking. I mean, this model here, it's symbolic that the roof is floating because actually what we're doing is building an entirely new structure, but holding up the roof over it while we do that. And so right now, if you are out there, you'll see that the roof is suspended by temporary support structures. Then we will dig down 53 feet to double the size of the arena from 400,000 square feet to 800,000 square feet. We'll build parking lots and loading docks, build back up, and then reinstall the permanent support beams. But the roof is a landmarked and iconic structure. It is a key part of the Seattle skyline. So Yeah, it's this great combination of the past and the future.
And you'll walk in on the plaza, and
Yes.
most folks will walk
It
down
is-
into the bowl. Is that correct?
Yes, almost
Yeah.
entirely a
So
subterranean bowl.
a different
Yes.
experience for most arenas around the country.
It's going to be a very intimate experience, just over 17,000 seats.
And it'll first serve and be permanent home to the Seattle Storm,
Yes.
right, in the summer
The
when
Seattle
it opens.
Storm, as well as 41 home games, plus the playoffs
Right.
for us. And then a lot of concerts, 60 to 80 concerts a year, and some great acts that right now are bypassing this market because we don't have the state-of-the-art arena that can accommodate the modern acts.
Well, thank you for spending some time with us, Mari, and thank you for your service on the board of the Downtown Seattle Association as well. And thank you for joining us for today's City Maker conversation here at the NHL Preview Center.